Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Well, today is going to be a fun video because I am going to use a brand new pressure cooker for the first time, alright, or pressure canner for the first time. This is the Tefal 22 quart pressure canner. And the story behind this is my son purchased this a few months ago because he wants to learn how to make jams and how to can stuff. So even though I have 3 of them, he went ahead and bought one. And I'm glad that he did because this thing is pretty awesome. Now this is 22 quarts. It'll take, I read the instructions and says that it will take up to 16 pints. Okay. I've never seen one take 8 in one row, so I'm only going to leave it to 7 per row, but it'll take up to 2 levels of pints. Okay, so today I'm going to use this to can some beans, and I'm going to tell you why I'm deciding to can some beans with this. But there's a few things that I really like about this pressure cooker, and there's a couple of things that I don't. The first thing that I like about this is that you can't see it now, but I'll show it to you towards the end of the video, is that instead of a rubber gasket, it comes with a silicone gasket. Very high quality silicone gasket. Okay, so that's one of the things that I really like about it. The other thing is that it comes with a very nice and big gauge that tells you what the pressure is inside. So if you look back, you see how nice and big it is, right? It's got really nice big handles that you can carry the pressure cooker with even when it's hot, right? And it doesn't come with a weight. It comes with a mechanical weight. So this here is your mechanical weight, and it comes with 3 settings, as you can see. This, well, 4 settings really. This setting right here that you see is to allow the steam to come out. All right. Number 1 is for 5 pounds of pressure. So anything under 1,000 feet of elevation, you use number 1. Number 2 is for 10 pounds of pressure. So anything between 1,000 feet and 5,000 feet, you use number 2. And number 3 is 15 pounds of pressure. So anything above 5,000 feet. I think it's 5,000 feet, right? That you use 15 pounds of pressure. And all you have to do to operate this is really easy. You see this little handle right here? All you have to do is push down on this and put it on 1, or put it on 2, put it on 3. Same thing to take them off. Okay? Very easy, and you don't have a piece that you can, get burnt on, because this here is not made out of metal. That's one of the things that I don't like about it, is that it's not made out of metal. Oops, I just dropped it. So let me go ahead and pick that up, ladies and gentlemen, just a second. But I already used this once, and the reason I used it was just to give it a test run. Okay, so I just put water through it for about 20-30 minutes, and it worked great. The one thing I did notice is that when I put it on number 2, my pressure only came up to about 9 pounds, and I didn't like that. So what I ended up doing was I ended up putting it on number 3, even though I only require 10 pounds of pressure. I ended up putting it on number 3, and once I saw that it hit about 13 pounds of pressure, I turned down my heat to the lowest setting, and it maintained about 11 to 12 pounds of pressure throughout the entire time that I was using it. All right, and 11-12 pounds of pressure is just fine. Actually, I prefer that a little better. Okay, because it's like a little bit of a safety. I'd rather be a little bit on top of the pressure that I need than to be too low, because if you get too low as far as pressure goes, you have to start all over. So those are some of the things that I like about this and that I don't like about it. The construct of this is nice and thick, so it's got a nice thick metal. I would say that it's probably about 3/16 thick, which is better than your cheaper Prestos. Okay, but so far so good. This is going to be the first time that I actually used this. to can something, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, so now let me go ahead and bring you over to what I'm going to can today, which is some beans, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. Okay, stand by. Okay, so you can see here that I've got 7 jars set up. Today I'm going to be canning some black beans and some pinto beans. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you go to the store and you buy a can of black beans, and I know this because I buy them pretty often, but not anymore. For 1 can of black beans around here, you're looking at least $1, if not more. But I'm going to go to the cheaper side and say that I pay $1 for a can of black beans. Okay, I just bought a 1 pound bag of black beans for $1.21. This 1 pound bag of black beans is going to make me 7 pint jars of black beans, and more than likely will have more beans in it than what the 1 can that you buy at the store has. So one of these, once it's processed, will have more product in it than the can that you buy at the store for $1 or more. Okay, so what I'm saying is that for every 1 pound of beans that I paid $1.21 for, that I can up, that I pressure can, I'm making $7 or a little more than $7 worth of product. So if you do 14, you're making $14 worth of product for the price of only 2 cans of beans. Okay, and pinto beans are even cheaper. Okay, so for $2, roughly $2, you're making about $14 plus worth of product. That means that if you go through 2 cans of beans a week, in 1 year, you will have saved enough money by canning just your beans, nothing else. You will have saved enough money by canning your own beans to be able to purchase this pressure canner. Okay, so this pressure canner goes for about $75, $76 on Amazon. It's a great deal. And for the quality, I think it's a pretty good quality canner. Just having used it that one time to, I would say, prime it, you know, to get it seasoned, I guess, to make sure it works. For $70-something, I think it's a great canner. So if you eat beans, you know, once or twice a week, this right here is going to end up allowing you to pay for itself in less than a year, depending on how many beans you go through. For people that eat beans a lot, it'll pay for itself in 6-7 months, depending on how much you use. But I know that we probably go on average 1 can, maybe 2 cans of beans a week here. So I know that in less than a year, this canner will have had paid for itself just from the beans that I can. Okay. Now I may have some of you out there that are going to say, well, what about, you know, it's going to cost me more. I have to buy jars. I have to buy lids. Obviously you do, ladies and gentlemen, have to buy those things. Okay. But average that into the cost of the overall cost of producing these beans, and you're still going to be well ahead than if you went and bought your own beans. And you'll be able to put in it whatever it is that you want to put in it. So let me go ahead and start prepping this. And I'm only going to prep the first 7, the black beans. I'm going to do 7 black beans and 7 pinto beans. And I'm going to prep the black beans, and then I'll turn it back on when I have everything inside of the canner and I'm ready to go. Okay? That way you don't have to see me prepping 14 jars of beans, because it's going to be the same thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put about 1/3 of a cup of beans in each jar. Okay? And the thing is, it may not look like a lot, ladies and gentlemen, when you put them in the jars. However, these guys are going to expand a pretty good amount. All right, so you don't want them to expand so much that it's going to... Oh, just a second, ladies and gentlemen. I just saw a small rock in here. And I washed these twice, too. Saw a small little rock in there. So, and that's another thing that I did before I put these in there. I gave them a good washing and rinsing. But just be careful when you're doing this. Make sure that you take a look at what you're doing. That way, if you see something that's out of place, you can take care of it now. Okay. Second to last one. And I think that's going to work out just right. Yep, it sure is. That's going to work out just right. So 1/3 cup of beans each. Let me go ahead and grab these guys. That worked out perfect. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to put 1 teaspoon of sea salt in each of these. And obviously you don't have to if you don't want to. I've done this before, and I can tell you that that little bit of salt really helps to bring out the flavor in the beans, and which that's really what salt is good for as far as cooking with. It helps to bring out the flavor of whatever you're cooking. Okay, and that's all the salt that you need. Now I am going to fill each of these up with some water, and that's it. Not putting anything extra in there. Now, if you guys want to spice this up and stick a chili pepper in there, by all means. Right? I am going to fill this up to the very first line of the rim. So to the bottom line of the rim, I'm going to fill this up. You really don't want to overfill these. If you overfill these, what's going to happen is when you're done cooking, when these things are done cooking and the pressure is stabilizing, some of the product might want to come out of the lid. It might want to come out and get stuck in between the lid and end up breaking your seal. All right, so you just want to make sure that you fill it up right here to about the first line of this rim. So give it about a good 1/2 inch of headspace. Right, this is probably the easiest canning that you'll ever do. All right, because it's not difficult at all. You saw how easy it is. And all you have to do is just prep them all up like this. And then you'll be ready to put them in the canner and let it get started. And then once you're done, you're going to have a whole bunch of product that you paid pennies for instead of a lot of dollars for. So stand by, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just waiting for my water to fill up my container over there. Okay. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're using tap water, I highly recommend that instead of just putting straight tap water in here, that you filter it so that you don't have that chlorine flavor, chlorine taste in there. I always make sure that I use my reverse osmosis water whenever I'm doing any kind of cooking. And of course, that's really what it's for. Okay, so last one here. I think I'm going to need a little bit more water, about another 4 ounces. And then we'll be ready to clean the rims and put our lids on. And I've already got some lids that are on the stove getting heated up right now. All right, so stand by. Our water is just about done filling. All righty. Okay, we'll fill this one up. Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for any of you that are not experienced with pressure canning, what we want to do now is we want to make sure that all of the rims are nice and clean, even though there's really nothing to get them dirty. It's just a little bit of water that we put in there. But still, it's good practice to always go through your rims and clean them nice and make sure that there's not going to be anything there that's going to get in the way of it creating a good seal. Once we wipe the rims off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little bit of white vinegar and wipe them off with that as well. All right, so here's number one. Okay, now we're ready to put our lids on. Okay. And these lids are kind of, they're pretty hot. Let's put them up there. So I apologize to those of you that are experienced at doing this, because you're probably bored right now. But I'm showing this all the way because for those of you that are not experienced at doing this, I want you to see how easy it is. It's not difficult at all. And the big point about this, ladies and gentlemen, is that this is going to save you a lot of money. And to those of you that are wondering, why did I have the lids in hot water? So what will happen is the lids, let me show you. If you look at that, it has a gasket or a seal down there, right? I call it a gasket. That, when you put it in hot water, it gets really tacky and it kind of holds on to the jar. All right, and it allows it to stay in place pretty well, and it'll end up creating a pretty good seal. So now you just have to be able to, there we go. All right, now ladies and gentlemen, when you tighten this, you don't want to over tighten it, okay? You just want to finger tighten it. Usually what I'll do is I'll take 3 fingers and I'll tighten it. That's it, okay? It doesn't take a lot of strength. If you over tighten it, you're going to end up having a bad seal. Okay, so as you can see, 3 fingers, and that's it. Okay, 3 fingers, all I use. You don't have to use 3 fingers, but that's just how I've always done it. Okay. Last one. Alrighty. Okay, now we've got them all in there. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me go ahead and tell you how I do this. A lot of people do it their own way. I do it my own way too. There are some that when they fill up the jars with water, they fill it up with boiling water. And then they already have their pressure canner with the water that's needed in there already boiling or really hot as well. I don't do that. I go ahead and put cold water in here, and the pressure canner is cold right now. It's not hot. I let everything come up to temperature together. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put these inside the pressure canner right now, and let's see how much room we've got. That's one. 4. Now this thing says that it will take 8, and it looks like it would, but I'm only going to put 7 in there. I think that's enough, and it looks like it will take 8. So as you can see in there, I've got 7 of those in there. Now I'm going to go ahead and do 7 pinto beans. Okay, so when I got the pinto beans ready, I'll go ahead and come back and show you guys me putting those in there as well. All right, so we'll see you in about a second or two. The name of this article that I pulled up here, and it's only a couple of days old, is called "Do Canned Foods Ever Expire?" Okay, and I'm just going to start reading it because it's not that long, but I think it's got pretty good important information in here. Okay, so it goes, "Who among us has not rooted through the back of their pantry in search of baking soda, only to discover a can of diced green chilies or water chestnuts from the Bush administration, Bush 41. Once the initial shock subsides, it's like Narnia back there. There comes the inevitable question of what to do with the years-old can. Is it still safe to eat? The answer is straightforward. Yes, that food is still safe for human consumption. Jane Goodwin a technical information specialist with the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Food Safety and Inspection Survey, says best before or best buy dates on cans only indicate when that food will be at its highest quality. Those dates are not related to food safety. Due to tightly controlled procedures of commercial canning, cans that are in good condition are safe indefinitely. You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? Indefinitely, and will never make you sick, even if the best buy date passes during home storage. Goodwin tells the Takeout. Indefinitely, like forever, 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 ever. Yes, a can that is 10 plus years old that is still in good condition is technically safe to eat. That's because the high heat, high pressure process of commercial canning kills bacteria and seals the food completely, allowing no interaction between air and the can's contents. It's a high heat process, so canning preserves food and prevents the growth of any bad organisms, says Sherry Rosenbalt, a spokesperson for the Can Manufacturers Institute. Canned food is forever safe, but it's quality issue when you have a best buy or best buy date, or a best buy or use by date. You should use it within a couple of years for the best quality of the product. So she's saying here that even if you use the contents that's in a can up to a couple of years after the best buy date, that the nutrition in there is still pretty good, okay? And obviously the longer that you have it for after the best buy date, the lesser or the more nutrition that is going to lose with time, okay? But you're still going to have the calories, you know, and the basic fats, carbohydrates, proteins in there, and fiber, right? Still, you're likely to see the past date cans still, you're unlikely to see past date cans in stores. There are no guidelines that mandate when grocery stores must pull canned foods from the shelves, but the vast majority do so once an item's best buy date has passed. Most supermarkets will remove canned products from shelves once they have hit their best buy date, and those products may be donated to a local food pantry or the like, says Greg Ferreira, Executive Vice President of National Grocers Association. Some stores may reduce these products for quick sale, noting that they are close dated. Because these items don't expire, customers, especially those looking for a deal, shouldn't be afraid to purchase canned foods near or even past their best buy dates. And while the can of peas you unearth in your pantry likely doesn't taste optimal a decade after its date, there's no health risk in eating what's inside as long as the can itself remains in good condition. It's why many food pantries will still accept donated canned goods a few years past their stamp dates. Goodwin explains that because dating of canned food is not federally required, it's up to the individual food banks or health departments to set and enforce the acceptable date range for distributing past date cans. As for home canned foods, all right, ladies and gentlemen, so this is the main part that I want to get to for what we're doing here today. As for home canned foods, the USDA notes that do-it-yourself canned items that don't follow best canning procedures present a higher risk for botulism. If a person opens any can, whether canned at home or commercially, and sees a milky liquid when it should be clear, or sees a liquid squirt from the can when it's opened, that can should not be considered safe. But just because a can is a few years past its best buy date doesn't render it unsafe. Its flavor just won't be at its prime. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. For any of you that maybe had a question asking how long are canned foods good for, That's what this article states. Now, I would recommend that you do more additional research than just this article right here. I'll leave the link to this article at the bottom of the description, like where I normally leave links to articles, so that you can go take a look at it. But do some more research. That way you can feel comfortable with canning your own foods and knowing that they're going to be good for a long time. Okay. Now, having said that, it's always a good idea to rotate your foods, whether you bought them at the store or whether you canned them yourselves. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So having said that, let's get back to our canning, and we'll see what's going on over there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back. So I thought I'd show you what the inside of the lid looks like. As you can see here, it's got your safety. This is the one that's connected to the gauge, the pressure gauge. This one here is the one that's connected to the weight. And it looks like it's got an additional safety valve here. Okay? And as you can see, it's got a nice silicone gasket, which should last a very long time. All you have to do is just make sure you keep it clean. Even though I don't think the silicone gasket needs oil, still put a little bit of oil on here. Okay? And that's what the inside of the lid looks like. Now, what I've already done is I've already put my pinto beans inside of the canner, as you can see. And the canner right now, I already have the heat on high. Okay, as you can see, I've got the heat on high already. It's already going. So it's recommended in the instructions that you put at least a half a gallon of water in there. All right, I put in a little bit more than a half a gallon. Okay, I put in 64 plus 32, 96 ounces. So I put in like 3/4 of a gallon of water in there. The instructions also state to not put more than 1/3 of water in there, 1/3 of the container. So you don't want to go over about this much water in there. But right now I've got about this much, which is about, like I said, 3/4 of a gallon. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on. Okay, let me see if I can hold this on here without dropping the phone. Okay. Or sorry, not the phone, ladies and gentlemen, my high-tech camera. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to put the lid on. It's already going in there. And look at that. I got the lid on the first time this time, ladies and gentlemen. I've got my lid on. That's how easy it goes on. It doesn't take a lot of effort to put that lid on. Okay. So I got my lid on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my weight. Okay. And I'm going to put it on this little icon right here. So actually, right there. You see this little icon that it kind of looks like steam? You're going to want to line that up, this line right here, with this dot. What that's going to do is this, when it starts steaming, it'll allow the steam to come out. Now, when this starts to steam, you're going to allow it to steam for at least, or you're going to allow the steam to escape for at least 10 minutes, okay? Once it's been steaming for 10 minutes, you're going to go ahead and put your weight. In this case, it's supposed to be on number 2. But as I told you previously, that when I tried this for the first time yesterday, just with water on it, just putting it on number 2 didn't allow my pressure to get up to 10 pounds. So I'm going to also put it on number 2 today when it starts steaming and see how high the pressure gets with the pot being full. Okay, and if I have to put it on number 3, then I will, to make sure that I achieve that 10 pounds of pressure. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's important for you to understand that at any time during the canning process, if your pressure drops below 10 pounds, it is recommended that you start the timer all over again. Now, since I am canning 1-pint jars, I only have to can this for 75 minutes, all right, once it reaches the pressure that it's supposed to reach. So what I will do is I will allow this to reach 10 pounds of pressure, all right? Well, let me go ahead and give it to you in order. I'm going to allow this to get hot enough for steam to start coming out of the weight. once it's been steaming for 10 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and set it on number 2. And then once I see that I've attained a pressure of 10 pounds, I'm going to start my timer for 10 minutes. Once it's been on pressure for 10 minutes, then I will go ahead and start my timer for the 75 minutes that it takes for it to process, okay? So the entire process is going to take you probably about an hour and a half, an hour and 40 minutes as far as letting it heat up, letting it steam out, letting it come to pressure, and then starting to actually do the canning process at pressure for the 75 minutes, okay? So what I'm going to do is, between now and the time that it takes for this to get up to pressure, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to read to you all a article that came out on how long canned foods last. Okay, so that'll be between now and the next snip that I cut into this video. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we will talk to you in a few minutes, or in about a second for you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so as you can see, we've got about 12 pounds of pressure. I ended up having to put it on number 3 because on number 2 it was only hitting about 9 pounds. So I got it on number 3. Now on number 3, which is 15 pounds, it'll probably go close to 15 pounds, but I'm not going to let it do that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring my temperature, or my stove, down to low. Okay, actually I'm going to put it just a bit right there at low, about number 1.5, 2. Okay, and what I'll do is I will continue to check my pressure for about the next 10 minutes to make sure that it's maintaining above 10 pounds, and then my 75-minute timer will start. Okay, actually I already started my timer. I put it at 85 minutes, okay, because as long as it maintains that over 10 pounds, the 85 minutes will compensate for the 10 minutes and the 75 minutes, all right? So that's it. We are good to go. We're going to let this cook. It's going to do the work all by itself. All we got to do is now is just sit back and wait for it to get done. And then once it gets done, I'll come back and I'll show you guys what I'm going to do with it. Okay, so until then, we'll talk to you in a couple of seconds. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back, and this is all done. As you can see, I've already taken the lid off, and I've already taken 2 jars off. I started to forget to record there, but as you can see, we're taking these out. And what I did now is, once it was done, I turned the heat off the stove, and I let the pressure come down all the way on its own, okay? I did not try to let any of the pressure out, or, you know, open the steam valve up to let it out faster. I just let it do it on its own. And then I let the pot get cool enough to where I can touch it with my hand, where it's still really warm, but I can touch it with my hand. And then I'm taking my beans out. And as you can see, those there are my pinto beans. So you see that? Those are my pinto beans. Now we got to get the black beans out. The black beans look like they're nice. And I'm taking a look at all my seals. And all of my seals have already gotten sucked in. And this is still really hot too. But all of my seals have already been established. It's still in the sealing process though. So what you want to do is you don't really want to disturb these. Once you put these jars out here, you don't want to disturb them for the next, I would say, 16 to 24 hours, which is a lesson I learned the last time I was showing you guys my canning project with the beef. is that you don't disturb these jars for 16 to 24 hours after you take them out of the canner. All right, so we're just going to leave them there, and we're going to let them continue to do their work until they're fully sealed. And then the next step to this, ladies and gentlemen, which I'm not going to show you because it's just a very simple and basic step, would be to wash these jars. Take the rings off, wash the jars. Then after you wash them and let them dry, put them away in a cool, dark place in your pantry. And these should last a very long time, all right? I'll let that up to you to determine how long they'll last in accordance to the article I read to you here not too long ago. And that's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. So check this out. We've got 14 jars there. There's about 14 to, I would say, between $14 and $20 worth of beans right there that we just canned. And we only paid $2 for the product. So we spent $2 on the beans. We probably used up a quarter cup of salt altogether, and then a little bit of water for the pressure cooker and our time, and of course the little bit of LP that we used as far as what we needed to get the job done, right? So, you know, you can think what you want as far as how much it costs to actually do this. If you're going to be sitting around at home anyways, you know, for a few hours where you're going to be able to watch this, if you're going to be here anyways, you could see that the prep time was very minimal. It only probably took about, what, 10-15 minutes of prep time. And, well, let's say half an hour of prep time. And then all you had to do after that was just let it get up to heat. Once it gets up to heat, just let it go and do its job. All right, so not too much time involved as far as what you get out of it. All right, so this is what you get out of it. You get good food, all right, that's a lot less expensive than what it would cost you at the store. All right, and if you do this for a whole year and you use anywhere between 2 to 3 jars of beans a week, you will have saved enough money to actually buy one of these. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm going to be uploading this for my Saturday post, so we should be chatting right now, hopefully. And I hope you all have a good rest of your weekend. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow on Sunday. I have a few select questions that were asked this last week that I want to go over, so we'll talk tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much again for joining in, and thank you to all the new subscribers. Hopefully I'll remember to do a subscriber shout out tomorrow on Sunday. Okay, so all right, ladies and gentlemen, remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. This is Alaska Prepper, and I'm out. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to support the channel...
What? What is it you want me to see?
Tell the community members what they can do to support the channel.
Give this man money.
No, not give me money.
Yes, this is how you can support the channel.
Well, that's one of the ways, but I don't necessarily need money. There's ways.
Give him good advice. He needs it.
Well, that too, but there's ways that the community can support the channel by doing things that they already do.
If they already do these things, why would they do them?
But to do it to support this channel, like for example, ladies and gentlemen, if you click on my Amazon link, you will support the channel. It won't cost you any more. Do you use Amazon, Victor?
Yes.
Do you use my link?
I can buy things now.
Do you use
I've been kicked out of every store now.
Do you use my link?
No.
Well, why don't you use my link? If you use my Amazon link, then the Alaska Prepper community is able to benefit from it because
my account is not allowed on YouTube.
Well, I use a lot of the revenue from Amazon. I use a lot of the Amazon revenue to give back to the community by doing giveaways.
You give back to these people?
Yes!
This is
they're my
ridiculous.
community members. Of course I have to give back. Didn't you enter the last giveaway I had?
No.
Well, you should enter the next giveaway. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait to do this giveaway. So, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry for the distraction.
Everything should be free. This is how it is in Mother Russia.
No, everything is not free. Even if people tell you it's free, it's not free. So let me
it's definitely
let me
free.
finish telling the community how they can support the channel. Ladies and gentlemen, you can support the channel by using the Amazon link. It doesn't cost you any more. You can also support the channel by letting one or two of the ads that come up during the videos run through so that our channel can be credited with that ad. If you press the skip button, do you ever press the skip button?
Yes, every time your video pop up.
Why are you
Every single time. Garbage. Garbage channel. I would not support.
Why will
Dismiss this video. Do not use.
If you don't press the skip button, it gives the channel a little bit of revenue so that I can do giveaways. I like doing giveaways because it allows new preppers to get some cool stuff that they can use for their prepping endeavors. Do you understand that? That's why I like to do it.
You take this revenue and instead of buying vodka,
I'm not going to buy vodka
you
with it.
give to these people who definitely will not use to buy vodka.
Well, they don't get the money. They get an actual prize in the mail. I have it mailed to
I
them.
sell it, buy vodka.
Well, here's another way. I know you like precious metals, right? You say you like silver for making silver bullets to kill werewolves.
Kill werewolves.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you are in the market to buy some precious metals, please take a look at my SD Bullion link below. Every time that you register to SD Bullion, the channel gets some credit for that as well. And the revenue that I'm going to get from SD Bullion, if anyone registers with them, I'm going to use to give away silver. What do you think about that, Victor? Do you want to use my SD Bullion link so you can buy yourself some silver?
Silver sounds nice. It does.
You like the silver? Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you can dig in your pockets, you're more than welcome to do a super chat during our live chats. And you can also buy me a coffee by taking a look at the link down below. Do you like coffee, Victor?
Coffee? What is this coffee?
You don't know what coffee is?
Coffee.
You just like, do they have coffee flavored vodka in Russia?
They have what?
Alright, we're going to go ahead and leave it at that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go ahead and sign off now. So remember to be good to each other, because when good people do good things
happen.
Remember to reach one, teach one.
Repeat this. When good people do good things, things happen.
Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place. Very good. And you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. This is Alaska Prepper.
And Victor.
And we're out.
Goodbye.